not so convinced by this talk of God and godliness. I believe in my own mind, and that the truth is sitting at the bottom of the world's deepest hole, deeper than the oceans and colder and darker too. I want to get a few things out of the way before we get too far into this. I do not intend to lie to you. I'm simply interested in explaining my own views, in my own words, so that they're out there. First time I saw Vincent, he was trying to break into a car in a CVS parking lot. He was actually working at the CVS at the time. I know this because he was behind the counter when I was in there a few weeks later. Anyway, I knew very little about him, but I knew enough to know that this man was a prophet. He approached me about doing an interview, so I obliged. This is the result. Perhaps you want to know about the committee to return to form. Well, there isn't much to say.
Is this real? Is this a real camera? Do you have any reels in it? I wouldn't say that I'm interested in it. I would say that it's interesting. I don't know if it seems similar or normal to you, but I personally don't believe in an idea of time as anything but having to have time. Generally, I do have more space. You know, I don't drink a lot of beer, so.
Do you like documentaries a lot?
Yes, I have seen quite a few. I do not like many, but I have known that very few have such pronounced embellishments as the work of Mao. I'm no lay documentary fan. I've seen the hits, Super Size Me, Fahrenheit 9/11, but the difficulty sometimes in portraiture in documentary form is so harrowing that it almost becomes salient. Think Searching for Sugar Man.
Where'd you study? Or where have you
Yale.
studied?
I was at Yale for my graduate work. And for my postgraduate, I was lucky to get away with just my PhD. Which, so many people don't even get that,
When you're conceptualizing work, what kind of process do you find? Let's say, for instance, with your sculpture, how do you begin? Do you always work within 3 dimensions, or do you begin with a drawing? Do you begin with word, sound?
Well, why do you have to ask that? And people don't understand that. That experience can be sort of like, the wino's experience of the pizza parlor, or the, the jock's experience of "It's a Wonderful Life." But then sooner or later, you know, with the drawing, I was very able to sketch out ideas like that. I don't know if you've seen my pieces from that era. I'm sure you know. Tim shoots the moon woman. You know, one of the most powerful pieces to ever derive from cinema. And technically very, you know, primitive, but also so much more like, well, like another piece that I did, which, you know, I guess, Johnny Goes Big Time, you know, which was a more recent sculpture piece that has elements of, well, I mean, you're laughing, of course, because it has very little to do with, you know, what you might recognize as a very...
That's not my world.
...limited medium.
It's not my world.
Very limited. I mean, it was commentary on Richie Rich. It was commentary on...
Kennedy?
No. It was commentary on Chinatown.
The movie?
No, the other.
The town?
And every Chinatown.
What do you think is the movie that you've watched the most times? Not necessarily the best film.
I'd probably have to say that, well, I mean, maybe Au revoir, mes enfants. But the work of Mao, he exposed Americanism.
What do you mean by that?
He took on the hard stuff. Agriculturalism, professorialism. He took on, well, just about anything more than what American audiences were looking for. And he was on television. I would just like to see Loving Vincent, you know, in television. What has happened? You know? What has happened?
You seem very critical. When was the last time you watched?
Well, you don't know how it is to be an actual artist and to actually have critical examination.
Do you take yourself seriously? Do you think you take yourself too seriously?
I don't think I've ever been taken seriously.
Do you,
Do we still have an agreement about... Do we still have an agreement as to, my time and my,
the value of your time?
Yes. Do we still have that?
Of course. Do you follow current events, nationally, internationally? What's going on in the Middle East? What's going on in the Southeast?
I do.
Far East.
Currently, I have been thinking a lot about my fans and about how important I am. I think I find myself in very few spaces now. You know, when I was at Harvard, there were incredible spaces. Here at, this school, We have less.
Well, it looks like we might have to change this reel in a minute, but you mentioned your book. This is Acts of the Apostles. We have some excerpts here. You want to choose maybe a few and read from them?
Well, that's my old book.
This is your old book.
Well, yeah.
You provided this to us.
Quotes? I can... Excerpts from Acts of the Apostles by Vincent Paste. In the old times, which aren't real because I wasn't alive then, God would come to pick you up from the daycare. However, it must be said that Jesus Christ did not believe in him. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, imagine this. Dark. It's dark. Cold in an old town by the ocean. Through the fog, I can see the outline of a 2-story building, illuminated by a neon red sign that reads, God's Kingdom, Bible School, and Greengrocer. And as I get closer to the building, I hear the distant tolling of church bells. Clang, 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 clang. And then, nothing but the soft acquittal of the rain. 13 tolls. That's strange. I could have counted wrong, but there are really 13 clangs. So I guess I'm right. I have reached the building now, and I look through the dusty window. There appears to be no one inside, so I change that by entering through the unlocked front door. I have never been here before, never in the building nor in this town. I arrived here after a long walk down the train tracks in the rain. I just wanted to see where it would lead me, and here I am.
I think we're going to have to cut it there. We're running out of time here on the tape. But I do want to get a photograph of us maybe shaking hands to commemorate this.
Okay.
Here. And I'm glad that you could come here and talk to us today. For everyone watching at home, thank you very much for coming to the theater and being here with us. This is Mr. Vincent Paste. See his new exhibition here. And thank you very much. Goodbye. Good night. Goodbye.